On the UConn Sports Nation hotline is Malik Banks, a 6'1", 195-pound DB who committed last night to the University of Connecticut. Malik, definitely congratulations and welcome to the show.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
So how'd the process go, and what made you decide UConn was the place for you?
UConn, basically, when I got, I was going to all these camps, so UConn wasn't really, it wasn't really, I didn't think it was going to go this way, but when I first started, I went to the UConn camp, me and my other two boys, Ahmad John and Sean Bowman, and, basically, just do the best I could, to get, the prize, to get the scholarship. So, it's a funny story, actually, they started the conditioning, and UConn is, one of the most mental camps that I went to in my whole, all my 3 years of going to the camps in my high school. So it was kind of hard, and it was hot out there, for my surprise, in Connecticut. I thought it was going to be cold. But the conditioning I did horrible at. And, I had a couple of Cinnabons before. I thought I could, I thought I was a man. I could just eat them and just get through, right? I was wrong. I ended up throwing up in the middle, got all my stuff together. And then once the football started, it felt natural. I just did what I did. And, head coach Edson ended up offering me on the spot after, like a 5-minute talk and him, picking my character and seeing, what type of man I am.
So you mentioned your conversation with Coach Randy Edsall. What was your impression? What was your impression of him?
It was just very conservative. Like he's not a coach who really takes rational decisions just on athletes just because they're able to do this or do that. He was really, like I said, the conversation lasted about 10 minutes. And the son, we was just talking, he was asking myself how, where I was as a football player, what I think I was. I ended up telling him, I feel like I was at 75 to 80%. And I didn't peak yet. And basically what I meant by that was there was always room for me to grow, and then on top of that, to grow into their program where I'll be going to college at. So he was, all the coaches, Randy Edsall, he was at Detroit Lions. So he had a very good impression on me about character because I'm built off the character as well. And that's why when I committed, it's always a verbal commit. You can break those, but I gave him my word. I gave him my word as a man that I was coming to UConn, no matter Ohio State would offer me the next day. So that's the type of relationship we built was off of trust and character. So he had a good impression on me.
Well, it certainly seems you're a natural fit for his type of program. What was your impression of UConn as a whole, the campus, the facilities, those type of things? Being an athlete from Delaware, we don't really have too much, big things like football-wise. So when I seen the campus, they had their own indoor facility, which was huge. They had... I remember, we went out to the fields, to do the camps. They had, of course, 2 fields or whatever. And after I got the offer, they, 4 or 5 coaches, not just 1 or 2, 4 or 5, to show me how much they cared. They all took me on that, on that trip throughout the facilities. I enjoyed it. I saw some things I've never seen before. Like there's this big black thing that you step on. You turn it on, and it shakes you while you stretch, and it gets deep into your muscles. I've never seen things like that before. So of course. It's a D1 school, so it had, all that big extra stuff. Kids can just walk in to grab protein shakes whenever they wanted to. Just things like that. The weight room looked like 100 yards, like another football field. Their weight room was more long-wise and wide, So I enjoyed all of it. They even, gave me the jersey to take a picture in. So I enjoyed all of it, though. I had fun. So you are a defensive back. Are you aware of the Huskies' tradition of developing cornerbacks and safeties into NFL caliber players?
No, sir. I was not aware of that. I realized, what's his name? Obi something?
Yeah,
Going
Obi.
into the, yeah. I did my research and I saw him. He was a 6'3" DB from the Huskies, and that's another thing that impressed me so much from UConn was basically that their ability to produce NFL-worthy football players as well.
Now I'm talking to Malik Banks, defensive back from the state of Delaware, one of the newest commits to the UConn football recruiting class in 2018. Now at defensive back on the field, what makes you stand out as a player? Basically my physical frame, and my physical frame is still having the ability to run a 4, 5, 40, and if I worked at it, I could bring it down even more. So I have a very good physical frame for my age. Everybody thinks I'm like 21 or 22. And, that helps me on the field. I take pride in weightlifting. I always loved it. But also, I had to realize that I had to be able to keep my mobility. So I'm fast and I keep a physical frame, which is why a lot of coaches, step to me at the beginning of the camp. They see I'm able to, I'm such a big safety, but able to keep it with the receivers as well. And I'm a physical player. I love to hit. If you go and watch my huddle highlights, I think I have one pick in there, but it's a lot of hitting in there, and I take pride in that.
Yeah, I did see your huddle highlight tape, and it looks like you're good at shaking off blockers as well and getting to the ball carrier. So you mentioned earlier you're about 70 to 80% of what you could potentially be as a football player. What sort of things do you need to improve upon in order to take your game to the next level?
And that's the same, exact thing we talked about with me and Coach Edsall. He asked me the same thing. I basically told him that if I can master, I already have the broader things. Everybody can backpedal. Everybody can speed turns as a DB. But like I said, again, UConn was more a mental camp, where they perfected the little things first. And he asked me the same question. I told him, basically, if I'm able to, master the little things first, and then apply it to what is already, with me, all the talents that I already have, I think we can, mold me into a great player, and then maybe even make it into them.
So I saw you canceled. You had a visit to Boston College scheduled, and you canceled that after your commitment. Who else was looking at you throughout this entire recruiting process?
Well, I had 4 other offers. I had Addison Broadus from West Virginia. I had Morgan State, Howard University. I had Central Connecticut, and then the 5th one was UConn. And I was talking to Boston College, Pitt, things like that. But it's sad, really, because in the recruiting process, it's not like how it was in the old days. Kids really have to do more of the work, and they forget. Coaches and the adults forget that these are kids. We don't have all the knowledge that we have. So it's basically whoever has the most knowledge. To go out there and realize what it takes to be recruited. Rather than the other way around like it used to be, where coaches would come to the kids. So I feel that it should be changed around. I don't like how it is. Because me personally, I didn't know a lot of the things about this recruiting process at all. And your head coach will try to help you, but at the end of the day, he's a head coach of a high school team, not college.
Now, off the field, what do you like to do away from the game of football? Do you play other sports? You mentioned you're pretty fast, so do you do track?
Really, football was really. I ran track when I was younger. I would run track for AAU for I think I was 9 or 10 years old. I went to the Junior Olympics in New Orleans and Virginia, so I was pretty up there. But once I started growing, I started getting these horrible growing pains in my knees where I could barely walk. So I had to stop track, and in the midst of me doing that, I started football. So from there, I didn't really pay attention to the track part. I was always able to maintain or even, produce more quickness without running track. So right now, it was mainly football. But my senior year, I am going to run track. I'm going to do everything I can to prepare myself for going into college, and taking every opportunity that I have. So outside of football, basically, I guess we'll say track. I don't really go out a lot. This is a commitment for me in football. So if I'm not on the field or in the weight room, I'm usually at home playing the game or laying down watching TV. So that's
And final question for Malik Banks, defensive back commit to the 2018 UConn football recruiting class. So you have one more season back home at Howard High School. What are you hoping to accomplish during your senior year?
Just have fun. Of course, is to be safe. By the grace of God, nothing happened. But just have fun and then try to put on a show. For these people before I leave, try to make a mark on Delaware. And then to also show them that, because, Delaware is overlooked in the recruiting process. It's a small state all the way up north. It's nowhere near the middle or towards the bottom or south, where a lot of
other players are recruited to these big schools. So I really just want to be a testimony and then inspire other kids to know that just because you're from Delaware doesn't mean that we can't make it. Because all I really did was just to make it to the top. It was basically just putting the work on top of the talent. I didn't rely on my talent by itself. Because you can be the best player wherever you're at, but if you continue to put the work in on top of your talent, you will be the best football player that you can be.
Well, Malik, I certainly appreciate your time. Congratulations again, and good luck throughout your senior year.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I appreciate the talk.